Hello and welcome to the Random Wrestling Review. This is our local to global series. We are in January of 2001, coming off a pretty significant first show in January, where at Welcome to the Jungle, Chris Harris became our new Northwest champion when he defeated Dave Batista. With the help of Jim the Anvil Neidhart, as we discussed in the last episode, Harris and Batista went at it in their match, and then Bruce Hart came down to the ring, seemingly to help out Dave Batista and prevent Chris Harris winning the title, just as James Storm had warned him would happen. And so James Storm came out himself to prevent I keep saying Buddy Wayne, to prevent Bruce Hart from interfering in the match. And the distraction of these two arguing meant that the referee was distracted when Jim the Anvil Neidhart ran in, clotheslined Dave Batista, allowing Chris Harris to finish Batista off and get the victory to win the Northwest Championship. And then after the match, Chris Harris celebrated with both his partner, James Storm, and the man who helped him win the match, Jim the Anvil Neidhart. And that was the end of Welcome to the Jungle. Well, we are continuing on this saga with episode 71 today, and the first thing we need to do is put in place the next event. I don't know what I'm going to call it. As usual, we've got to this point, and just going to quickly run through the game suggested names to see if there's anything that is worthwhile for this one. I don't want to call it Backstreet Battle, but maybe something Battle. No, can't think of anything that I'm happy with there. Murder Incorporated. Clock Strikes 12. Your Time Has Come. X-rated. Straight to Hell. Some of these names. Oh, goodness me. And not only that, but I've used up the one or two that are even slightly decent. Power Surge. I might just get rid of... There we go. Call it RWR Power Surge. That's what we'll call this next one. Again, a ridiculously bad name, but we're not going to use it again. It is just a special. And, I don't want to have to bother, to be honest, coming up with names for every single show. So Monday Week 4, everybody's available for that one. So let's go with that. So that's what we've got next. Power Surge is our next event in a few days' time, 13 days. So let's move on with the game, shall we? I don't think there's anything I need to do with regards to business. So it's on to the next player-controlled show, and once again, a chance for me to thank you for joining me for this episode today and continuing to follow along with this series, which is going into 2001 now. We are getting close to the point where in real life, both ECW and WCW no longer existed. And I'm interested to see how the game handles that, whether it even handles it at all. It might be that, given that this mod began in 1995 and our save began in 1995, that the mod didn't include any attempt to kind of, change anything with regards to WCW and ECW at that point. And so it very well may be the case that WCW and ECW carry on well into the future. In fact, I kind of hope so, because them going out of business now all of a sudden would be kind of unrealistic. Although it is fair to say that WCW have been in a bit of a bind for some time, and indeed they are now facing real competition for the signature of Sting, as we saw in the last episode. And yet today, the main event of Power Surge is going to be the Tag Team Championship match as the Mavericks defend the title against Ace Steel and Barry Buchanan. You will remember that Chris Harris, having won the Northwest title last time around, became the first man in history to hold both the Northwest and the Northwest Tag Team titles simultaneously. No one has managed to do that prior to this point. We're also going to see a bunch of other matches as well, although I think that is certainly the standout contest of this next event, no doubt about it. And my ambition right now is to move us on all the way to episode 100, and certainly our 100th event. So the Royal Rumble results show us that Shawn Michaels has regained the WWE World Heavyweight title. Let's have a look at the Royal Rumble then. Shawn Michaels beat Bret Hart, 98 rated match for the title. The Undertaker won the Royal Rumble itself with a 91 rated match. Austin retained the Intercontinental title, defeating Bob Holly in an 84 rated match. And those are the kind of the highlights, I suppose. But Shawn Michaels is once again world champion at Royal Rumble 2001. I'm going to quickly look at the WWE title history as it stands now, because obviously there's been 6 years of game time for this title to move around. So when did we come in here? The champion would have been Diesel at the offset of the game. Bret Hart won the title off of him in November, as happened in real life, and he dropped it in March of the following year, as happened in real life, but he dropped it to Razor Ramon. He dropped it back to Diesel, back to Razor Ramon. Bret Hart became a four-time champion. Then Shawn Michaels won his first world title in October of 97. Then the Undertaker, I'm assuming this is the same Undertaker who would have won it all the way down here. This should have been his second world title, because of course he won it, all the way down here. But he was Mark Calloway in the title history. I don't know why. Owen Hart then won the title. Then it was the Undertaker's third title reign. Then Owen Hart again. Then the Undertaker's fourth title reign. Then Diesel in his third title reign. Bret Hart's fifth title reign, and now Shawn Michaels is a five-time world champion. So that's where the WWF title is and what's been going on with that. We, however, will go into Power Surge now. And let's book this one. Still absent, of course, Charlie Haas. We've got Chemo as well, out injured at the moment with an injury. That's interesting, because I'd forgotten that, but I don't think that affects anything I'm looking to do right now. So that's good news. So what's going to be the first one? In fact, it does affect a match I've got booked here, which is no good. I'm going to book the rest of the show first and then see what I've got left. So Shawn Stasiak will face Bobby Walker in the opener. And we're going to have Shawn Stasiak win this. I have started to think about how we're going to finish up Bobby Walker, because he's still kind of in a feud with Rex King at the moment. And I've not been impressed with his work. I don't think he's got the stamina for the kind of matches I want, even though we don't, as a company, do long matches. He hasn't got the stamina even to go, a few minutes. Although he looks, this is a work the crowd match, which is why he can probably go 8 minutes without, being out of puff. We're going to have in this second match then, we're going to have, I think we'll have Mark Henry versus TJ Wilson. This is TJ Wilson's first singles match in the company. It won't surprise you that he is going to lose it. We're going to have a dominant victory for Henry in this one. I think what we'll do is we'll have Mark Henry continue to attack TJ Wilson after the match. Teddy Hart will try and make the save. Is there anything I can... No, because he's going to try and make the save, but instead of making any difference, he is going to be cut off by Shawn Stasiak. Henry continues to beat on Wilson. Hart makes the save, but is then attacked by Stasiak. And the two bigger men pretty much take out Wilson and Hart here in a pretty rough beating. So then we're going to have C.W. Anderson against... What are we going to do here? Yeah, C.W. Anderson against Billy Kidman in a singles confrontation. We'll have this one a bit longer, 13 minutes. And Anderson's going to win this with the help of Buddy Wayne. So Buddy Wayne's going to cost Kidman the match. Of course, those two still in a feud at this point in time. I think we'll make this the storyline. We'll make the next match a storytelling match. Then that next match is going to be Dave Batista versus Rex King in singles action. Batista obviously no longer champion, having lost to Chris Adams in the last episode. And we're going to have Batista win this one. So that's how it's going to go. And this was going to be the storytelling match as well. Rex King is very unhappy. Why? You're losing to perhaps the biggest star in the company, Dave Bautista, the one man who has won the Northwest title twice. Shall we keep him strong? We'll keep him strong, but I'm a bit fed up of Rex King objecting to being booked to lose. He's not really that important to me. Now, what else have we got here? Right, before all of this, we need Dave Bautista to come out at the start of the show. He's going to cut a promo where he's going to rage against Jim Neidhart. He's going to be off screen, but Bruce Hart's going to come out and he's going to book Batista versus Neidhart for Fighting Spirit 4, which is our next event. So Batista comes out, demands a match. No, in fact, calls out Neidhart. Bruce Hart comes out, says Neidhart isn't here tonight. Book a match for next time. Isn't here. Books a match at next show. Right, that just about fits in. So that's what's going to happen here. Yeah, I've missed a few things here actually. So we're actually going to start the show with this. Actually, Batista's going to come out. In fact, that's not what's going to happen. We're going to have this later in the show. I think we're going to have Batista run through Rex King a little bit quicker, and then what's going to happen is after the match, Batista's going to call out Neidhart, and then Bruce Hart's going to tell him, well, I'm booking the match for next show, which is Fighting Spirit 4, and a big match is going to take place there. Because what I want to do, the reason I want to do that is because before the opening match, Rex King is going to attack Bobby Walker. As he enters for his match. Yeah, I'm gonna be moving this around again. I've just realised. So let's do that first of all. So what we're changing then? So instead, Dave Bautista and Rex King is going to open this show. That's what we've decided. And that's going to then allow. Oh, this is messy. We're going to have. So I'm moving this stuff around because I just didn't think that the order made sense as it was. For example, if Bobby Walker was attacked by Rex King early in the show, then why wouldn't Bobby Walker take his revenge on Rex King? That's the first thing. Then I was going to do Sean Stasiak and Bobby Walker last, but then I was like, well, if Stasiak has his match after he beats up Hart and TJ Wilson, that just doesn't feel right to me either. So we're actually going to move this one right the way down as well. And this one moves here, obviously, before the match. So effectively, we've got Batista versus Rex King. Then after the match, Batista call out Jim Neidhart. Bruce Hart say that Neidhart isn't here, but books the match at the next show. C.W. Anderson then will face Billy Kidman, during which Buddy Wayne will help Anderson win, cost Billy Kidman the match. Rex King is then going to attack Bobby Walker as Bobby Walker enters for his match, which then Bobby Walker loses to Stasiak. And then Mark Henry squashes TJ Wilson. And after the match, Henry continues to beat on Wilson. Hart makes a save, but is then attacked by Stasiak. So the order now, for me, feels more. It just makes more sense to me. Now, we were going to have a match with Chemo and Eric Young. I'll get to that in a minute. But our main event, of course, is for the Tag Team Championships. It's James Storm and Chris Harris, the Mavericks, against Ace Steel and Barry Buchanan. Now, before I book this, I'm just going to show you why they are the number one contenders. Actually, that was my intention here. So Ace Steel and Barry Buchanan. Obviously, they've had a lot of matches together. They defeated CM Punk and Buddy Wayne at the New Year show. They beat Dave Batista and CM Punk. Battle for Respect in November. They beat Keith and Teddy Hart at Iron Circus. So they've won their last 3 tag team matches, which is why they are in line for this tag team title shot. And this is going to be, we'll make it 15 minutes, I think, and we'll make it, I don't think we'll make this a slow build. I don't think we need it. The winner is going to be Ace Steel, and he is going to pin James Storm. Now, this is a very significant thing because, of course, James Storm being tag team champion along with Chris Harris is the one thing that's keeping James Storm in the company. He is on a rolling 30-day contract, which means that the minute Bruce Hart sort of gives him notice, James Storm's got 30 days left in the company, but he was holding off. Bruce Hart was holding off on doing that whilst James Storm was tag team champion. And this is him losing the title. But he's losing it because he is turned on by Chris Harris. That's fine. We're not expecting to. This is just him betraying James Storm here. And this should be the finish as well. Northwest tag team titles are changing hands to Ace Steel and Barry Buchanan. And then after the match, Bruce Hart is what options have I got here? I don't think we need to do anything too much actually. Bruce Hart. Maybe acting. Yeah, I think acting is the right thing. So that will have acting for everybody here. After the match, Bruce Hart on stage. In fact, he's not going to be acting. He's going to be talking, of course. Bruce Hart on stage tells Storm he is now on notice. Chris Harris shakes Hart's hand. So that's how it's going to end this show. And actually, we've been waiting to do this as well. Turn Bruce Hart in this moment. So I'll go through all of this when we run through the show properly. Let's just have a look at the booking analysis. That is all fine. We're not going to be penalized. This is our show. I did have originally another match booked, but I don't think we need it. We've got a number of wrestlers out, not working, but I think that will save us a little bit of money, which actually is not a bad thing to do. So, yeah, I think we will just proceed with this show, Power Surge, and that very significant last couple of segments. Let's get to it. I don't think this will be as good a attendance for this one. I guess we'll see. Okay. So 188 people in the Marshall Center once again, and it starts with Dave Batista defeating Rex King in 9 minutes and 30 seconds by pinfall with a segment rating of 40. Very nice. Batista basically needed a little bit of an enhancing victory here because of the fact that he just lost the title and his momentum's been cut off just somewhat. Batista wins the match with a 41 rating here. Rex King a 36. And then after the match, Dave Batista calls out Jim the Anvil Neidhart. He says he wants Neidhart right now. Obviously, it was Neidhart who cost Batista the Northwest title 2 weeks ago. Instead, Bruce Hart steps out onto the stage and he says that Jim the Anvil Neidhart isn't here. He says he hasn't heard from him since the show 2 weeks ago, but he's got the power to do so, and so he is booking a match at Fighting Spirit 4, which will see Dave Batista take on Jim the Anvil Neidhart. So segment rating here 43. Everyone performed pretty well, so very happy with that. And the Batista Jim Neidhart story that began 2 weeks ago with Neidhart costing Batista the title continues with this. Then C.W. Anderson fought Billy Kidman in another really good match, segment rating of 45. These two have great chemistry and it showed in their performance. I don't believe they've had a match against each other so far in the company. And C.W. Anderson wins this following interference from Buddy Wayne. So Buddy Wayne, obviously the former mentor of Billy Kidman, who Kidman turned on a few months ago now. he kind of takes a measure of revenge on Billy Kidman by costing him this match, and C.W. Anderson gets the victory. He was a 38 rated in-ring performance. Billy Kidman a 42. He's rapidly improved over the last few months since he's turned heel, so that's really cool. But Anderson picks up the victory. Then we have an angle where as Bobby Walker comes out for his match next up on the show against Shawn Stasiak, Rex King attacks Walker from behind and gives him a little bit of a beating before the referees finally prize him away from Walker. But the damage has been done as Walker enters into the ring for this match. A segment rating of 28, as this story just is not really, it's not really got the same kind of heat as the rest of the promotion at the moment. And that allowed Shawn Stasiak to take a reasonably easy victory over Bobby Walker. And of course, I forgot to remove the working the crowd note that I put on this one, which was a shame. This is Bobby Walker's best performance, I think, since he's been in the company at 23. It's got a segment rating of 35, with Stasiak coming out on top in 8 minutes and 4 seconds. So then Mark Henry faces TJ Wilson in what is effectively a squash. TJ Wilson's first singles match in the company. He loses in 6 minutes 17 seconds with a big splash. Henry did a 36 in-ring performance. He's pretty good these days, but TJ Wilson just a 22. A segment rating of 31 here. And then after the match, Mark Henry continues to beat on the defenseless TJ Wilson. So Wilson's teammate Teddy Hart comes out to the ring to make the save, but he is then attacked by Shawn Stasiak, and Henry and Stasiak then basically beat up Wilson and Teddy Hart and leave them lying in the ring. A segment rating of 33. And so it is on to the main event, and a 47 rated match. As usual, these guys have delivered, but although this obviously is because James Storm is effectively a babyface, but Chris Harris is a heel, definitely. And the Mavericks face Ace Steel and Barry Buchanan, also heels. Ace Steel and Barry Buchanan though win the match and take the Northwest Tag Team titles from the record-setting tag champions when Ace Steel pins James Storm after Chris Harris turns on him, hits him with a super kick from behind. The story of the match is effectively that Chris Harris kind of starts off the match in the ring with Barry Buchanan and is fighting the match as normal for a while until he tags out to James Storm. James Storm then carries the bulk of the match, and Storm looks to get a hot tag, but Chris Harris then turns on him, hits him with the super kick, allowing Ace Steel to get the victory. A 47 rated match. Chris Harris was a 49, James Storm a 50, both really good performances. Obviously, also Barry Buchanan and Ace Steel 41 and 42. Very, very good indeed. Confusingly, James Storm and Woman are on different sides of the face-heel divide. That's the first time I've seen that particular error message, which is interesting and fair enough, really, because I've not given Woman a corresponding turn with James Storm, but a really good main event. And then the end of the show, Bruce Hart comes out on the stage as Chris Harris has basically stopped on the stage as well. Bruce Hart and Chris Harris look at each other. Bruce Hart has a mic and he tells James Storm that now he has lost the Northwest Tag Team title. He is on notice. He's being served his notice. He now has 30 days left on his contract. And then Bruce Hart turns to Chris Harris and the pair shake hands. Obviously, Chris Harris now Northwest champion, but is the one that the one that obviously cost James Storm the Northwest Tag Team Championship. And a segment rating of 45 here. Bruce Hart doing a masterful job of improvising interactions with the crowd. James Storm obviously reacting to all of this going on, being swerved by his own partner and being handed his notice. Bruce Hart's gimmick's getting stale as well, so we need to do something about that. Let's handle the change, which is Bruce Hart's turn heel, which was a complete success. And that is how this show ends. I can't remember the name of it. Power Surge. That's how it ends. 45 rated show, not bad at all. A good main event, really good main event. The tag team titles, I would say, are in safe hands with Ace Steel and Barry Buchanan. We've now changed both our big titles in the last two shows. So it's a pretty big period of change for us. Also good matches from C.W. Anderson and Billy Kidman, Dave Batista and Rex King. The middle part of the show was pretty poor, but the main event certainly delivered. We are going to give Chris Harris another compliment. We'll give James Storm a compliment as well. And who else are we complimenting in this show? I think we're going to go with Billy Kidman, who was, as I said, has shown a real improvement as of late. So they are all the ones that get the compliments today. And there you go. In the books, it is Power Surge, and we have new Northwest Tag Team Champions. Just going to see what the feedback has been. Very positive. It was a good show. Excellent stuff. So let's go to our titles, because here they are, the new Northwest Tag Team Champions, Ace Steel and Barry Buchanan. They get the victory. Ace Steel now has been Northwest and Northwest Tag Team Champion. James Storm and Chris Harris, the Mavericks, were our most successful tag team champions of all time, defending that belt 5 times. But they've lost it now to Ace Steel and Barry Buchanan. In terms of top 100s, so that wasn't an amazing show. It was the 10th best show in our history. In terms of matches, that match was the 19th best, which is why the show wasn't like incredible. And the other decent match on the show, which was of course C.W. Anderson and Billy Kidman, was the 36th best match of all time. But in terms of attendances, that is just one less than Welcome to the Jungle earlier on in January. So a successful show, certainly in terms of ticket sales. I think what we'll do is we will progress to the end of this month and then take a look at the finances, because we are in a little bit of a phase of needing to balance the books a little bit. I am a little bit concerned that we're going to lose some money here, but there we go. The big payoff to this whole Bruce Hart, James Storm thing has come with Chris Harris turning on his partner and effectively costing he and his partner the tag team titles, which has got the knock-on effect of allowing Bruce Hart to finally serve notice to James Storm that his contract is going to be up and he has got 30 days left in the company. That actually takes in both the next 2 events. So, there's still a bit to this story to go, and we'll see what happens in those 2 events. But that's where we are. This is what I've been talking about a little bit recently. I've had to actually plan for this one because there's been lots of stuff to figure out how to do this the best way. Emo is returning to the company, so he was injured. He's now returned, so that's great news. There's nothing here, so it's all about finance, and we made a massive profit. Sponsorship money went up humongously to 9,300. Combine that with the best month we've ever done in terms of ticket sales, and that's why we've got 4,305 in terms of profit last month. So that was a huge profit-making month for us. Let's hope that continues for a while, because if we can get to sort of 50 grand and we can push the bat out, maybe we'll start making those changes to our production that could allow us to get on TV. Because I think that's the next thing we need to do, is to start to spread our exposure across North America and try to get as much popularity as we can everywhere that we can. Because 22 at the moment is fine in our own region, but we need to improve the rest of the country in terms of their, as I said, their exposure to us. And yeah, next up, Fighting Spirit, the fourth Fighting Spirit in our history. We already have the main event, which will be Batista versus Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Let's also look at the rankings here, because this is the rankings as at before the show we've just done. And Rex King lost whilst Ace Steel won, and so did C.W. Anderson. So those 3 men are all on 11 points. And so I can reveal right now that the first defense that Chris Harris will be making of that title will be against C.W. Anderson, and it will be at Fighting Spirit 4. So Dave Batista versus Jim Neidhart, plus the Northwest title on the line as Chris Harris defends against C.W. Anderson. That was the only combination of heel babyface that I could get from the 3 men that were in the number 1 contender spot. And yes, it does represent a little bit of a quandary for me in the next few episodes as to how we navigate the fact that we almost certainly going to have to do at some point a heel versus heel title match, unless of course Chris Harris could lose the belt. So I've got to think about that, and I've got to be honest that I have in my head plans that go up to the end of February, so the next 2 events. and then I've got nothing. We start with a blank slate as we go into March, which will be, of course, the Golden Triangle tournament, which is a good place to be when you get to a tournament. Is a kind of new, a whole new set of stories potentially and new directions for everybody. Anyway, that is all I've got time for today. Thank you for watching. Let me know how you are reacting to Chris Harris turning against James Storm. I'm sure people potentially predicted that, but that's where we've gone with the story. And catch us next time. Thanks for watching.